Okay, before we start our session, let me introduce our speaker today, Coach Hanafiah. Coach Hanafiah is a business psychologist, corporate trainer, business and entrepreneur coach since 2012. Having 20 years having 20 years experience in corporate sector with Petronas, he is expertise in charge of management process and strategy development for leaders and employees. And today's topic is your customer, yourself, and you. What does your personality say about your sales competency? So without further ado, let's welcome Coach Hanafiah.
All right. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Can everybody hear me? Oh, okay. So you can hear me. Eh?
Yes.
All right. Okay then. So would you prefer if I speak in Malay or English or rojak?
Both okay.
Both also okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay then. My name is Hanafiah Mumaisa. Can I get the video on?
Sorry, Coach. Tak clear.
Video, I tak dapat activate the video.
Oh, okay. Alright. Okay, now boleh?
I
Okay.
still cannot start the video.
Now okay. I can see your face.
Oh, you can see my face. Oh, good. All
Yes.
right.
Already start. Okay.
Okay. Yes. Now I can see my face. Okay. One more time. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Hanafiah Mumaisa. I have been in the business I've been working for 30 years, and of which 20 years I've been working with Petronas. And for the past 10 years, I have been doing my own business psychology company, and I am actually associated now with Aston Business Assessment in UK. I am also their, what we call a consultant partner here in Asia. So I'm helping them to understand how we can actually get people to understand their psychology and how to improve their business through psychology. Okay. Now, without further ado, I just want to share with you a very, very quick finding or a tool that we actually use to help people understand what their abilities in selling is. So this test, this what we call trade sales profile, it has been used for a number of organizations, including insurance, including what do you call that thing? Real estate agents, and we have tested it with a lot of other sales-based organizations. Okay, so the key thing that we found out is actually there are three things important in terms of a person's ability in getting the sales done. Okay, number one, if you don't mind, can I just share the slides? Okay, number one is what we call the customer, or we'll go to the salesperson. Can the salesperson understand sales itself? How is that person, how does that person behave? The salesperson, we will look at their drive for performance. Okay, I'm not so sure if you can see this, but I'm just going to help you zoom this a bit. Okay, with how that person's drive for performance, and how can we actually understand his positivity and resilience. Okay, all right. In terms of the salesperson himself, does he have the drive to actually make that sales? Okay, so a person who scores a high score, it shows that he is rather energized. Okay, and he's be able to actually focus on how to make things happen. Okay, in this particular example, okay, a person who scores an 8 here, it, if you look at the performance implication, okay, dalam bahasa Melayu dia, it's actually performance implication tu perangainya sebenar-benarnya. Okay, the performance implication talks about whether or not this person is more likely than most to be consistently focused on sales goals and can get others to work together. So if, again, if you look at the score here, if he scores an 8, okay? So as we go into other areas, each and everyone will have a different sort of reading. So by having this tool, we are helping people to understand how they can actually improve their sales ability in terms of their own personality to drive the sales. Okay, so from the salesperson point of view, that is the drive for performance. Is that person having positivity and resilience? What this means is if he faces a brick wall, okay, is he resilient enough to overcome that brick wall? Can he see how he can work better? Will he be able to solve issues while facing a so-called brick wall? Okay, so the whole idea of having this positivity and resilience element is to understand how that person is actually behaving from within themselves. Does he have that positivity? Is he resilient enough? So from there, we can actually improve whatever skills that needs to be tied up to positivity and resilience. Okay, if you notice, there's a lot of MLMs. Okay, they always tell people, "Hey, come to the meeting at least once a week. You know, if you don't come, you won't feel recharged." So that so-called recharge, what it means there is they need help in terms of getting themselves more positive and more resilience and getting that motivation to be intact. Okay, all right, so moving on, would there be any questions from anyone from now? So far no, all right, okay.
If you have any question, you can drop dekat the group chat.
Yes,
Okay?
please. Yes,
Alright,
please.
thank you.
Okay, and probably you can help me to actually prompt me if there's any questions coming in. Okay, all right, so moving on, 3 areas that we need to look at. One is the salesperson himself. What's the next one? The actual sales itself. Okay, the actual sales itself, how does that work is whether or not the sale is in terms of 2 angles. From an angle of situation, solution innovation or sales process management. All right. So from a sales process management point of view, a salesperson, he would need to understand how does the sale process work. Say for example, he receives a user who, or a potential customer. So now that potential customer wants to make to buy that product or service. So what will be the next step? It'll be the payment, invoice, receipts, and all that sort of things. So those processes he needs to be clear of. So one of the angles that we will be looking at is what is the sales process management? How is he familiar with the sales process management? You know? From the sales perspective, we will also be looking at the solution innovation. How can he help in a way um, make a sales happen? Okay, you can see this happening during the MCO. Okay, you can see a lot of people during MCO, they will switch strategies. Okay, you can see some people starting to sell, say for example, training. They will sell training through video conferencing, and some even offer free training. Okay, so the solution innovation comes from an angle of how can you actually help the sales grow or make that sales happen. Because when you look at sales solution innovation from your point of view, are you able to change or to come up with something new just to make sure that that sale works? Okay, so in a more detail, in a more the word is detail lah. In a more detailed manner, we can actually look at whether or not that person has the creativity to actually come up with new type of sales. Okay, all right. Having said that, that's the second part. Okay, just to repeat that one more time. The first part is the salesperson himself. Okay, the second part is the sale that he makes. The third part, guess what? Okay, is the customer. When we talk about the customer, whenever we talk about sales, there's always a tukang jual dan tukang beli. Okay, so from a point of the customer, how do we actually take care of the customer? How do we communicate with the customer? Okay, so having said that, the element that we are looking for is actually how well does that person literally take care of his or her customer. Okay, so the element is called customer care. So what we actually look at in customer care is, does the customer the customer feel comfortable with this salesperson? How does he take the initiative to take care of his customer? What are the things that he will think of? How will he present himself? How will he engage with his customer? Okay, so when you talk about customer care, is more about making sure the needs of the customer is met. Okay, so having said that, once you understand what the customer needs are and how you can actually manage the customer needs, that is the second, the next element, which is very close to it, is how do you communicate with that customer and how do you persuade that customer in making that sales happen. On top of that, how does one make sure that that customer will stay with him? So customer loyalty is part of this communication and persuading as well. Because once you are able to communicate and properly persuade your clients, he will actually be able to be with you for quite a number of years. Okay, I have met a few entrepreneurs when he actually, this person, she actually is a she. When she actually changed jobs selling different type of products, okay, she has a customer base that is loyal to her. So her advantage is whatever she sells and whatever she actually communicates to her loyal customers, they will buy. So that is her advantage. So no matter what product she sells, you know, she actually is able to get her loyal clients, customers, to be with her, no matter what the product or even the services are. Okay, so in a nutshell, what we look at is this through 6 elements. We categorize it into 3 categories: the salesperson, the actual sale itself, and the customer. So if we probably I'll just show you this particular slide. It helps you to digest probably much better. Okay, can everybody see this? Okay.
Yes, yes.
All right, cool. So you can see from drive the performance, positivity and resilience, solution innovation, sales process management, customer care, and communicating and persuading. So these 6 elements, which we subdivide into those three elements just now: the salesperson, the sales, and also the customer. Okay. Now, this particular report is actually a report that we do for clients who wants to actually engage in terms of getting their salespeople to be to literally test them where they are. I have actually used this to actually test a different group of people who were not from sales, and they actually use this to see whether or not those non-sales people can they actually be in sales. Yeah. So this particular profile actually helps organizations to understand where they are in terms of being a salesperson and getting the sales up and running. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna kind of like pause for a while, and it would be great if we can actually have some questions for me to actually move on with the more important issues, which is actually how do we get this done. Okay. Can I have the first question, please?
Okay, anyone ada nak tanya? If you have any question ataupun nak tanya, boleh unmute mic
Boleh
ataupun
unmute mic.
drop dekat chat box. Okay coach, ada yang tanya. Boleh coach ulang balik tak the first point tadi yang trade sales something?
The trade sales profile.
Boleh coach ulang balik tak?
The element dia tadi.
The element tu macam mana?
Okay.
Dia tak clear.
On your side, boleh nampak tak this slide ni? Ke tak over clear sangat?
Boleh?
Boleh So actually, okay, I'm going to go one more time. I'm going to go from the 3 perspective, your point of view. Okay. First of all is the salesperson. Under the salesperson, there are 2 elements that we want to look at. The salesperson, can he drive for performance? Okay. Can you see this? Sorry, I selalu lupa nama you lah.
Clear.
Namanya apa sorry?
Mahani,
okay. On your side pun you boleh nampak drive for performance tu. Okay. So the salesperson ada 2 elemen. One is called the drive for performance, and the other one is positivity and resilience. Again, one more time. The salesperson, we want to look at his drive for performance, whether or not he is able to drive the sales. Okay. Elements like can he knock on doors? Can he muka tak malu pergi jumpa orang yang dia tak pernah kenal? Things like that. Okay, that's what drive for performance is all about. Okay, and positivity and resilience. When we talk about positivity and resilience, can he actually be positive if there's so much rejection? Okay, or tiba-tiba dia kata dia nak berhenti kerja, dia nak buat cari job lain pula. Okay, so is he resilient enough to actually make things happen, to actually continue to become a salesperson? Okay, so one more time, the salesperson ada dua elemen dalam tu, which is positivity and resilience and drive for performance. Okay, the next one is the sales. Number two is the sales. When we talk about the sales, there are two also elements that we are looking at. One is called the solution innovation, okay, and the other one is the sales process management. Okay, I'm going to go fast, moving to the customer pula. Okay, the customer, we need to see two angles: customer care and also communicating and persuading. So in conclusion, to answer that question just now, if you can see this particular slide, okay, we are looking for drive for performance, positivity and resilience, solution innovation, communicating, persuading, customer care, and sales process management. Okay, Mahani, are you okay?
Okay, alright, clear.
All right, cool. Oh yes, Cik Fakrul Razi is inside here. Tok Guru tu, Tok Guru. So for any other questions? This is a very straightforward personality profiling that I use to actually help people to understand where they can improve as a salesperson. Okay. Now, from a trait personality profiling point of view, what we also do is we look at other people's personalities in terms of what are their competencies. Can they work with others, for example, or to a certain extent, can they cope with pressure? So these are some of the elements that we look at other than just the sales. We also help people to look at their leadership qualities. Yeah? We evaluate their leadership capabilities in terms of trying to understand who they are in terms of leading self, leading others, and leading the business itself. Okay. So coming back to sales, okay. Is there any questions about the sales profile?
So far tak ada.
Okay.
Dalam chat box pun tak ada.
All right.
Okay, ada one question daripada Cik Fakrul Razi.
Akhirnya.
Alright, any chance for participants to take the test now or later?
Oh yes, yes. We can actually help you to get that. I'm only charging this one very minimal. It's only 37 ringgit. Okay. That one doesn't come with the coaching session, but with that you can actually see where you are and how you can improve yourself. The beauty about this is why I say you don't need the coaching session. Okay, if you look at how the scoring works, if say for example, okay, how to read it, the score will tell you your behaviors, perangai you macam mana. If the way you answer, people who answer the way this person answer, a 9, what it's meant here is the performance implication, it will dia akan tunjuk perangai dia. And this interview questions ni is to get you ready for potential questions yang orang akan tanya about you in terms of a sales punya position. So in this particular result, people who score a 9, the potential questions that they should be looking into is contohnya, describe an example when you have set yourself a stretching sales target or goal and work towards it through sorry, work towards it through to completion. Maknanya, pendek cerita, you set a target, dapat, macam mana you set tu dapat dan achieve apa yang you target or more. Okay. So, bila a person reads this question, he did have mentally prepare himself during the interview itself. So during the interview, he can actually prepare himself for that particular interview. So this is something like what we call a shadow fighting sort of a preparation. Okay, so the report is very straightforward and very simple. The first yellow orange headline is actually the definition of this particular element. Okay, the performance implication ni tadi, like I said just now, is dia punya perangai. Maknanya orang yang jawab macam orang ni jawab, perangainya adalah ... Okay, so the profile, macam dia kata sini, the profiles, the respondents profiles indicates that he is ... Okay, and the potential interview questions that he should prepare himself for, okay, is this. Okay, so that doesn't mean that he has to go for an interview. No, he is preparing himself for himself. Okay, how can he push his targets further? How can he drive for his performance? Okay, same thing with positivity and resilience. Okay, by doing that test and getting the result, he can actually question himself. Is he positive enough? Is he resilient enough? So even the interview questions will actually reflect on each participant ataupun each respondent punya jawapan. Okay. Tuan Fakurazi, I hope I answered your question walaupun bunyinya panjang dan lebar sikit. Okay, so far, any other questions?
No. Okay, Coach boleh proceed.
Okay, all right. So in a nutshell, when we talk about personality profiling in terms of a person's sales and what do you call this thing? A person's sales profile, his ability to actually work with customers and making the sales happen is the key thing in ensuring his sales work well. Okay, and as everybody knows, I think people are aware that a product can only sell itself if the product is well known. However, a good product will not be able to sell itself if you do not have a strong salesperson. Okay, so this is just a short presentation about what your sales profile is all about. And if you would like to know more about it, okay, I can be contacted through FMC, or even you can contact me directly. Okay, if you need my handphone number, is it okay if I share my handphone number?
Okay, up to you.
Okay, all right. Okay.
Okay.
You can actually contact me at 019-6550-969 directly. Okay.
Okay, zero.
Hello.
Hello, Coach. Boleh repeat that number, Coach?
It's okay. My number is 019
019
6550
550
969. Okay.
969. Okay.
All right. And I can see Encik Rashid is already in, so he'll be waiting for his turn to come in now.
Okay, Coach, got another question.
Yes.
Okay. How accurate the result?
Yeah, all right. My favorite question. Okay, the accuracy, we have tested it even in Dubai, in Arab Saudi, and we have tested it in UK itself, and we have tested it with a number of organizations and industries, and it's about 80 to 85% accurate. So if we have an 80 to 85% accuracy, um, that means it's quite close enough. Okay. So if you notice this, say for example, these two round things, okay, beside the number 7, okay, uh, it's based on what we call the bell curve, okay. There are possibilities that person will actually score a 6 rather than a 7. But from a bell curve perspective, yes, close to 80 to 85%, we will actually get the way a person answers. Okay, all right. I hope I answered that question, because this one we have to talk from what do you call the thing, statistics point of view.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any question anymore, participant? Or any concern you want to ask?
Yeah. So probably if I can be given a few more minutes before Encik Rashid takes over.
Sure, sure. You have more than 15 minutes.
Oh wow!
Okay.
Fantastic.
All right.
Okay,
Sure.
I would like to just touch a bit about the personality from the Big Five theory point of view, because from that perspective, we are looking at the Big Five theory in terms of getting to know people's openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeable, and neuroticism. Okay, so from the Big Five theory point of view, we will see what we call a low and high score. Again, low doesn't mean bad, high doesn't mean good. Okay, so how we actually help people from the traits punya point of view. Okay, from a Malay punya translation, traits means sifat. Okay, in Chinese sifat means different. Okay, anyway, okay. From there we actually move and expanded the Big Five theory to having 13 types of trait dimensions. Yeah, from sociability right down to intellect, right down to industriousness. Yeah, industriousness ni kalau orang Melayu panggil is called kerajinan. Okay, and from there, what we can actually do is we actually map it to knowledge, skill, ability, motivation, and work habits, and we can map it to a competency behavior. So this so-called secret formula, okay, this is an open secret. How we actually do it is from those 13 traits, kita kawinkan, we marry a few of these elements together, we mix them up, and we get the competencies that we want. Okay, take for example, sociability and leadership. Okay, so from a sociability point of view and a leadership point of view, we notice that a person can communicate, conduct meetings, and even do presentation, and we can actually look at their scores. So people who score high in terms of sociability and leadership, okay, it means that their communicating, meeting, and presenting is quite good. Again, high, sorry, high doesn't mean good, low doesn't mean bad. So a person who actually has high scores in communicating, meeting, and presenting, there will also be some areas where he may not be able to look at. Let's say, for example, people who can talk a lot, okay? People who speaks a lot, who are able to communicate well. Guess what is what is his or her issue? The issue is as he wants to speak a lot, he actually forgot to listen to other people. You get the point? Again, high score doesn't mean good. Low score doesn't mean bad. Okay? I hope you are clear with that. So we can actually look at it from various competencies. And I have had organizations, for example, Telecom Malaysia. They wanted me to actually help them with competencies and personalities of what they call she folks. She is actually safety, health, and environment. Okay. So from there, how do we actually manage a person's personality and competency? Because what they were concerned about at that time was how can we find the right person for the right job? Okay. So that's some applications of it. Okay. So if in a bigger organization, if they have a whole lot of people who actually subscribe to this, we can actually even map for those who have low scores, okay, their development can be matched towards a certain specific course. Take, for example, the communicating, meeting, and presenting. All right. Low scores, we will actually send them to course A, for example. And that course A can be like high impact presentation, for example. Okay. Now, my question to you now is, people with high scores, what kind of courses should they be sent to? What would be that course C? Anybody would like to answer? Any answers so far?
Anyone to answer?
Okay, in the interest of time. All
Mm-hmm.
right. Okay. Uh, Usually, people with high scores in communicating, emitting, and presenting, what we will actually tell them is go to listening courses. And how to go to listening courses, we actually give them things like, for example, coaching programs. Okay, because coach, they will have to listen more rather than talk more. So that's the definition of a coach. So they have to actually learn how to listen better and not telling too much. So they have to, if you want to tell something also, they have to tell in the form of a question. Okay. So that's how we can actually map it. Okay, in other organizations, I've used this before. You can actually look at which areas that they want to focus on. Okay, so these are other elements which is not part of sales, but we have used this to actually look at how staff can actually improve and focus on the real thing that needs to be coached on or to be trained on. Okay, even to a certain extent, they are leadership perspective. Okay, where are the areas that we can actually help them to understand how do they want to be coached, for example. Okay. So, all right, having said that, I think my time is almost up, unless we have any other questions. Okay, so if you want to know more about your own personality in terms of sales itself, you can contact me directly, or we can actually discuss about what areas of personality or competencies that you want to improve on and focus on the right tools for you. Okay, so these are some of the snapshot of what we actually do as well. Okay. So I'm also offering some of these courses right now as we speak, and I can be contacted at my number just now for you to explore further. Okay. Um, I can also be reached at my email. You can actually use this email, info@gsec.com.my, or you just replace the info with Hanafiah. Okay, so that's my email address. All right, without further ado, probably I'll just open up for some more questions.
Okay. If you have any question, you can straight away ask Coach Hanafiah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. So if I think that if there's no other questions, so probably we can actually move into other areas. This is a quick advertisement. For those of you who wants to try directly, you can actually take this snapshot. Okay. Use this link to actually test your trade sales profile. And once it's ready, I will actually let you know that your report is ready. Okay, you can use this link. Okay, just make sure the campaign code is called GS-09. Okay, okay. For those of you who wants to capture this page, you can actually capture this page. Okay. I also have what we call the real estate agent potential profile. Okay, that's GS-08. And we also have for insurance agent. Okay, so if you like to know more about it, you can test it first, and I'll call you once it's done, and let's try to see how it works for you. All right.
Okay. All right. Okay, Coach.
Okay,
We
Rashid,
got.
are you ready?
Okay, Coach. We have another question from.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
I like that.
Okay, Coach. How does this profiling fare in the local context?
Okay, very good question. We have tested that because we have included the norms for Malaysian, and we've actually kind of like separated the Mat Salleh norm and the Malaysian norm. So yes, in terms of the Malaysian punya context, if you don't mind, I just answer it in a slightly different way. The Malaysian context, the confidence level is a bit low. So unlike the Mat Saleh's punya confidence level, they are a bit high. Okay. However, again, high confidence doesn't mean that they will actually make it. Okay. But with our low confidence ni, there's room for us to improve actually. Okay. To answer that question, we have to look at the norms of the particular location. If it's in Singapore or even in Brunei, the norm it would be slightly different. But I have tested this with the local Malaysians. So far, it works just quite well. And I'm now testing with one giant company, and it seems to be working quite well for them as well. I hope I answered the question. Did I answer the question?
All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. So, anybody else want to ask before we finish our session?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay.
All right. So I think that's basically it. For those of you who are insurance agents, please give me a call. You can test this immediately using this particular campaign code. For real estate agents, you can actually use this GS-08. Okay. And for salespersons, if you are into sales, this is the code that you can actually test and use if you want to. Okay. And yes, I can be contacted at 019-655-0969, or even just email me at info@gsec.com.my.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you so much, Coach.
All right.
Okay. So, one good point that I can pick up is I like this one.
Which
A
one?
good product will not sell itself if you don't have a good salesperson.
Okay.
So it's really important for you to investing a good training, good profiling session for your salesperson and for yourself.
Yeah.
Okay?
Especially for ourselves as a business owner,
Yeah.
we need to have this sales profile. Okay.
Mm-hmm. All right.
All right. With that, thank
Okay.
you very much, and Sheikh Rashid. The floor is now yours, and I'm going to stand by to watch your movie now.
Okay. Thank you so much, Coach Hanafiah. Okay. Before we proceed with the second session, okay, we're gonna take a break. A 3 minute break. Okay. Before we pass to another coach. All right. Okay.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Okay. Thank you so much. Okay.